Hi, my name is Claire, and my project is called Fabric Face-Off. We are currently in a pandemic, and there are mask mandates over lots of the country. I believe it is important for those who are making their masks out of fabric to know what fabric is going to give them the best chance of avoiding getting COVID-19. This science experiment is going to help determine the effectiveness of certain fabrics used for masks. I'm going to be using cotton, chiffon, silk, and flannel to test the effectiveness of these fabrics. I'll be using spray paint to replicate breath. I'm using these fabrics because they were recommended from the CDC, Medical MIT, and Medical News Today. At Medical News Today, a team of researchers claims to have found the best materials for homemade face masks, a combination of either cotton and chiffon or cotton and silk, both of which appear to effectively filter out droplets and aerosols. At MIT, a study comparing the aerosol filtration efficiencies of a number of different fabrics found that high thread count 600 TPI cotton fabrics far outperformed a moderate thread count 80 TPI Quilter's cotton for particles of all sizes. The CDC said to select a fabric with a high thread count and fine weave. Hybrid fabrics such as cotton silk, cotton chiffon, or cotton flannel may be a good choice. Use a minimum of 2 to 3 layers, preferably with batting in between layers. A YouTube video by E. Gibbons said you're going to want to use a tight weave cotton or quilter's cotton. In order to create an efficient mask, you're going to need at least 2 layers. To test your fabric, take an aerosol and spray it through. If it goes through, you know it's not doing its job. But if nothing goes through, you know you have a good fabric for your mask. My research question is, what is the best fabric for a face mask? I hypothesize that cotton will allow the least amount of spray paint to get through. I hypothesize this because cotton has a very tight weave. I also hypothesize that chiffon will allow the most amount of paint through because it has the loosest weave of the 4 fabrics. Here are my materials. You're going to start by cutting your fabrics into squares roughly the size of your frame. Then you're going to take one of the pieces of fabric and staple the edges to the frame. You're going to lay down paper bags to the end of the stand going out so you're not going to get any spray paint on the ground. You're going to tape them together so they don't shift during your experiment. You're going to roll out paper and cut the end and then tape it to the ground so you have that's going to be your spot where the spray paint's going to be. You're going to mark your paper and your frame with the trial number. Like the one in this picture would be a CH and a number because the CH will represent the fabric because chiffon, and then the number is going to be the trial number. Then you're going to slide that frame into place and mark the place on the stand where the nozzle of the spray can is 2 centimeters away. You're going to spray that can for 2 seconds. Then you're going to measure how far the paint goes past the stand. You're going to remove both the paper and the frame. Remove staples from the frame with a staple remover. Repeat steps 2 to 13 until all fabric is gone. And make sure your space is well ventilated because the breathing in that spray paint can be harmful. The chiffon allowed the most amount of paint to come through. The spray paint pattern consists of one small circle, then 1 or 2 very long drips. Very little paint was absorbed, resulting in the spray paint pattern. Cotton allowed the third least amount of spray paint to come through. The spray paint pattern consists of a circle with many drips. The cotton didn't absorb the paint as well as the flannel. Silk did the second best job blocking the paint and not allowing it to pass through. The spray paint pattern consists of an oval with 1 or 2 drips. The silk was less absorbent than the flannel, but more absorbent than the chiffon. The flannel allowed the least amount of spray paint to come through. One of my trials had 0 paint come through. Also, looking at the spray paint pattern on the fabric, the paint formed a circular shape compared to the cotton that dripped a lot. I believe this is a result of flannel being very absorbent. The flannel did the best job absorbing the paint with an average of 6.3 centimeters. The silk did the second best job absorbing the paint with an average of 7.48 centimeters. The cotton did the third best job absorbing the paint with an average of 34.35 centimeters. The chiffon did the worst with an average of 91.95 centimeters. My first hypothesis was not supported. Cotton did not allow the least amount of spray paint to come through. My second hypothesis was supported. Chiffon allowed the most amount of paint through. Flannel did the best job absorbing and blocking the paint. Silk did the second best. Cotton did the third best, and chiffon did the worst. There is an outlier in the flannel group. This may have been because the paint droplet was too small for me to see, or it landed on the stand and not the paper. If I were to do this experiment again, I would design the stand so there wasn't a gap between the frame and the paper. I would find a better proxy for breadth and also make the paper wider to get more data. Here is my bibliography.